My guest at this time is legendary pro wrestling commentator Hugo Savinovich. Hugo, thank you very much for taking the time to chat with me here today.
Brutal, ahí está Rey Misterio, lanza las cuerdas a John Cena, viene la catapulta, ahí está el tope de Rey Misterio, la cuenta del árbitro, 1, 2, por poquito. Here we are, brother Nick, we are kicking it again. We always have fun when we get together. Let's do it.
I love it, man. Hugo, you are always making news, man. I'll start with the Andrade interview, man. That's huge. First of all, how were you able to get him so quickly after he was done with the WWE stuff?
Yeah, it was a matter of keeping it real, and I let them know him in that situation and WWE, if they wanted to have somebody from their side, come in and talk, let's do it. And I think it must have been his fiancée Charlotte and him watching and checking out that I am here. I don't go leaning towards one company or the other. I'm always in the middle.
Sure.
And I was not happy with the whole situation of the Andrade thing. And the more I found out, the more I was unhappy. And then when that stuff just kept getting uglier, I just sent a text to him. And I said, listen, I would love to have you on the show. Of course, this is in Spanish. Sure. I said, I would love to have you on the show. It's called Sin Censura, no censorship. And you talk about whatever you want and whatever you want to do, we'll do it. And I said, just let me know. And it took like 3 hours. And then boom, he talked to me and he said, they've been after me to do this interview with other people, but I think you're the guy. I said, a lot of people trust you. And I said, let's do it. And then we did it. And I thought we were going to go short, because I didn't want to push it. I never push guests. Sure. And next thing I know, brother, he is just talking from his heart. And when he hit me with the pregnancy test with the same doctor that had said that he used a medication that was not allowed by their system.
Sure.
And he said to me, this is the same guy that told my fiancée that she was pregnant, and that was the reason they took her out of the WrestleMania card. And then they went into private doctors and the blood test, the story. It came out that she was not pregnant, and boom, the moment he talked on my show, it was like boom, boom, boom. They were looking for places to place their own side of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And in a way, they even had like Charlotte, having with their people to explain it. Maybe something was lost on translation. But the thing is, when she spoke, I don't think that it got better. I think a woman that is a legend, that has the legendary name of Ric Flair, and that has become one of the best in the field, and she's taken out of WrestleMania with the cheap excuse of being pregnant, and then no reason yet. She's not in WrestleMania, but Nick, the night after, she kicks everybody's ass. And they let her do like a kind of a mini CM Punk bomb in the ring and everything like that. So how do you explain you don't have her in WrestleMania? You don't have Brock Lesnar. You don't have The Rock. You don't have many things. You don't have a Jeff Hardy. You don't have a John Cena. You don't have a surprise. You don't have a CM Punk. And you have somebody already made, somebody that is a diamond, somebody that is a queen of wrestling. And you don't have her on the card, yet you bring her the next night in Raw. How the heck do you explain that creative process? Like, she's good for Raw, but maybe we'll send a message that because you favor maybe your Latino, fiance, maybe we'll send a message to the other people that, hey, anybody steps out of line, we don't care if you're the Queen Charlotte or you're Andrade or whatever, we're going to take you out of the card.
And so you're because that's something I wanted to ask your opinion about, Hugo, because a lot of people kind of wondering, first of all, like with Andrade being so outspoken, will there be repercussions for Charlotte? And you're saying that, yeah, the WrestleMania thing,
there were
repercussions.
There were.
representative.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for Charlotte. Like you're saying
Uh-huh.
that you think that this was directly related, the two things.
Oh, definitely. As
Yeah.
a matter of fact, the scary part, Nick, is that throughout the interview, I did on purpose try to hit some English because I wanted to make sure there was some evidence in English by his own, you know, way of talking and by me addressing it, because usually they translate to Vince and the people and they don't even translate correctly. So I wanted to make sure that we were on the same page as far as he was very upset and that he said, I don't want to say anything more because I don't want her to suffer the consequences.
Yeah.
But how more can you suffer when you were not listened to? Because this is what people are forgetting. They, as a couple, but as professionals, went with some great ideas, creative ideas to do things together. Andrade said Triple H and Vince didn't even know that he was back already 2 months. The owner of the company and the big boss, Triple H, did not know, and they were given the runaround by the creative, this and that, and they were very upset. And then when finally they realized that he wanted to go, they offered him more money. He said that here in Lucha Libre Online, and then it was for him to go to NXT. But when you heard him talk from the heart, when Andrade talked, you got the feeling that money was not going to keep him there. But it wasn't like he wanted to leave, but it was, they were killing his dreams. And when I said to him, I remember when I interviewed Primo Colon, Eddie Colon, he said, WWE killed my passion for wrestling. And that hurt me because this is kids that grew up with the legendaries of, the Brodys, the Abdullah the Butchers, the Flairs, the Briscoes, and for Eddie Colon or Primo Colon to say, boom, WWE just killed the passion. Fortunately, he's got it back, but that's how bad it was. And Nick, I don't know what's going to happen. I know that Charlotte came back,
yeah,
but I don't think that things are that cool because that's her man. And as you recall, not my fourth wife that passed away about 1.5 years, Diana, but before that I was married to Wendy Richter,
right,
who was Vince world champion or WWF ladies champion. That was the original, by the way, the original Montreal screw job was not in Montreal, was at the Garden. Referee Jack Lotz, Moolah as a Spider Woman, and boom, things happened, and Wendy wanted to kill Moolah, and Moolah ran out of the building. But before I had stated, when Vince wanted me to work for him, I said to him, that I did not think that it was a good idea to have 2 checks of the same household coming out from him, because if he got upset with her or me, he would probably fire the 2 of us. And that's like a prophetic word, because it is tough when you're a couple and you work for the same boss, because anything happens, even if they don't want to admit it, you're going to pay the price. So her price, the Queen Charlotte, was to miss WrestleMania. And then the next day, it was like nothing happened. She kicked everybody's ass. And wow, this is very strange. Like, she disappeared and now she's back the day after, and now she whips everybody.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing, is you talk about her being upset and then the office trying to do their thing, and Andrade's out there being so outspoken. You don't see situations like this that often. It's so many powerful, kind of influential people,
yes,
publicly airing this kind of stuff. It's just very rare to see
yes,
like this play out.
I think there's so much pressure because the only true enemy that WWE has is WWE, because they don't need more money. They got the money from Peacock, from NBC, from Fox, from all the other deals, but they have mistreated the fans. Remember when they went into that Raw interview, like a half-shoot interview, maybe, or I don't know if they consider it to be totally as a shoot, that the McMahon family, Triple H, Shane, Stephanie, and Vince admitted that they screw up with the product and they were going to change it. Yeah. Well, I haven't seen it happen.
Thank you.
They messed up with Bobby Lashley and King Corbin out of nowhere. And then it's like Lashley and MVP don't have the Hurt business. Now they have, and I don't want to sound racist here, but you go from Shelton Benjamin, Alexander, and now you got ex-Retribution guys, you know, with Lashley, who is Black American, MVP, who's a Black American. I don't want to bring racism into this, but what the heck is going on? They did Corbin, and now they have these two guys out of a group that was destroyed already. Yet the right combination was happening with Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. By the way, not just because they're Black, but because it was working. The Hurt business, when you have a leader like MVP who is credible, and you have what a fantastic wrestler. I mean, like Shelton Benjamin and this youngster that is coming up, Alexander, and then you have the powerhouse of Bobby Lashley. What the heck are you thinking to bring Corbin and then to end this segment or whatever you want to call it with this masked white guys? And don't get me confused with the white, Black, or Latino thing. I'm just saying that when you have something working, you know, don't freaking change it.
Yeah. Well, you talk about creative decision making. One of the things Andrade brought up as well, and has continued to kind of harp on and tweets and things like that, is just how WWE is not embracing Latin American talent, it would seem, or lucha talent, whatever you want to say, right? You obviously worked for WWE for many years. You are a proud Latino. Does it resonate when you hear Andrade have these criticisms? Do you think WWE has a blind spot when it comes to how they
I don't think, wait a minute, I am sure that WWE is not racist.
Okay.
I don't think that they don't dislike Latinos, but I don't think that they know Latinos. I think that they just think that because you speak Spanish, they could put you on the mic and you're a commentary. And it had happened with Lilian Garcia, and they forgot to ask that she really doesn't dominate Spanish full, you know? And so it went when it happened with Tito Santana, a great wrestler, but more American than Spanish. And they put him on the mic. And just to show you examples of what the heck is going on. And nobody has bothered to really see how in the States, I mean, we are like 48 million, like registered, you know, Latinos.
Right.
And then the ones that we don't know about, you know, now I have to be very careful with the words you use, undocumented or whatever. I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings with that. But you have another 20 million, I don't know how many now with the new president that we have. But these are people that love soccer, they love music, they love to have a party, and they love their lucha, the majority of them. And they were huge fans of, I said, well, they still are, but that's why in Mexico, WWE doesn't draw. Because in Mexico, they respect luchadores. They respect the foreigners that go there. So when they see what they're doing to their heroes, like a Rey Mysterio or a El Idolo, Ex Sombra, Andrade, and then you see what they're doing to, have you seen what they're doing to Angel Garza? Angel Garza has the looks, he talks English, he's the young generation, and I don't want to give out the creative stuff because I get paid for that, but you don't even have to build him in the ring, just give him the flower, have him be creating problems, trying to seduce other girls there, and you have Maurice and Miss. You have many couples there that you could do stories with. Angel Garza is like a kiss, like the Kiss Bandito kind of thing, where you don't have to do that much in wrestling, just that cynical laughter, the smile, and he's good looking. They're wasting that, all the other guys, and you gotta wonder, you know, what the heck is happening here? I mean, you have a nation of 200 million. People forget this. Mexico, even after losing the Spanish-American War, I mean, they still are a nation of 200 million people, or a little bit more. In their country, they love wrestling. And I remember when Carlos Cabrera and myself, who did the shows, WWE was getting millions of dollars from a concert company, Cessa or something like that. Okay. The same people that brought like the Justin Bieber and all those people. And the shows were sold out, Nick. Like if the show was like in 3 months, you couldn't get a ticket if you didn't buy it like then. And bad creative ideas and not paying attention to an audience that it's over 60 million just here in the States, over 60 million in the States. Then check out Puerto Rico, wherever they go there, they still draw around 14,000 people. They were drawing, when they came back to the Garden to hurt us with AAA, they brought in Stone Cold and then the return of The Undertaker just to hurt us. And they did. We had to come from the big building into the Paramount Theater and we did like 5,000 people. But guess what? Nobody said anything about them just putting, I think the best house was the one with the Undertaker that was like close to 8,500 people, but the other one was like 6,000 people at the Garden, and they hadn't been back there for I don't know how many years they were promoting it. So their product it's not as strong. They dominate because they're the #1 company in the world. But Nick, if you really study the product, you're going to realize that they actually are making money now that they are at the Thunderdome, because when they were on the road, they were not drawing. It was embarrassing. They were not drawing for Raw and SmackDown. They were losing money. So now they have one building where they do 2 shows, and then NXT on a smaller building, and all their shows are making money because even NXT now has not a huge contract. But the reality is the #1 company in the world with almost 300 top talent. People are upset. Nick, not too many people want to talk about this because they're scared of the monster. And this has cost me a lot of money. Yeah. Trust me, because I don't keep my mouth shut. I will talk. If AEW does something wrong, I will talk about it. Not happy with their Spanish shows. Their Spanish, AEW Spanish sucks. But then again, I'm not too happy with the English part, because I think they overproduce the English part and they concentrate on somebody knowing the wrestling halls, and they have put too much of a politically correctness part into Jim Ross. And this is not the JR that people are used to. It's like if you take me and you want to educate me into a corporation, format, that's not me. I'm used to kicking butt, and that's Jim Ross. And so I'm not too key with the AEW Spanish or English. And when I talk to you about WWE, the #1 company in the world, Vince put on the line about $1 billion on the XFL. Yet they were not willing to surprise people with a couple of $1 million investment, because we know CM Punk would have shown up with his wife if the money was right, because he had stated that. My question is, no Lesnar, no CM Punk, obviously no Rock, no Cena, no Charlotte. What in the world is going on? And then you punish Charlotte, and you pissed off a talent like Andrade, who, if they knew a little bit of the culture in Mexico, they would know how respected these luchadores are. I mean, I travel. I worked, after Conan, I'm the other creative guy, and with Guillem, we do the Spanish. We're all over the place. I do lives all the time, and you see we have sometimes 9,000 comments, 5,000 comments. The Andrade thing went crazy. That was like over 1 million views, but not just the views. I mean, that is great, but when you concentrate on reading the comments, then you could see that people are hurting from the lack of respect, not just Spanish people, in general. People are upset that the #1 company in the world is not giving them what they should be getting, a top show. And when they know that top talent are sitting in the catering room, and just like today or yesterday, the Skull Sessions, that Jericho said to Stone Cold that from the mouth of Vince told him, Jericho, that he was going to be in the main event in that WrestleMania show, and that he was going to win the Universal Championship against Kevin Owens. And then something happened, that it changed and then it was Goldberg and somebody else. And this was not like Hugo talking. It was not Nick talking. It was Skull Sessions, Stone Cold here, Jericho there. And Jericho will tell you the truth. It doesn't matter if it favors AEW or not. Jericho is going to hit you with the truth. And then we know that something that was working, even back then, was changed for something of a story of a Goldberg. And the Fiend Goldberg in South, on the Middle East, on Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Nick, it's just crazy. It just looks like the most powerful company that has ever existed in the world of wrestling, WWE, has the means to shut people up, to sign anybody they want. But once they sign him, it's like a jealous husband that keeps, the wife locked in the house so nobody could see it. This is my talent. These 300 people are my talent. They're my talent. And people get upset. Nothing happens with Jeff Hardy. What about the Fiend? Look at the crap they did with that. I don't know if Bray Wyatt can survive another attack. I even did a live where I said Vince McMahon doesn't like Bray Wyatt. I think it was more powerful than that. But I don't have another explanation why, when there's no supernatural guys anymore, there's no more Undertaker. Kane is a mayor of a small town in Tennessee. You know what they did with Finn and the Demon Balor. Demon had a potential, but Vince only used it like twice whenever he wanted to. And no supernatural characters, yet you burn the monster, you keep him out like for 3 months, and then somehow you bring him back with a horrible uniform, then you get the uniform right for WrestleMania, and then you have this magical music box, and instead of creating Dante's Inferno at the end, you have then Alexa Bliss with a black liquid, and the monster gets destroyed with one wrestling hold. He survived being burned, Nick, yet he's defeated. That's what drives me nuts, that they go so crazy about, no, you gotta protect this, you gotta protect that. Yet the match where things should have been different, it didn't happen. Then you find out that it should have been the Finn winning. That was supposed to be the finish, the Finn winning. And guess what? Bruce Pritchard and Vince change it. So how do you burn a monster? You have Alexa burning him. You have this musical box. Oh, what? I came out in Spanish and said it. And to me, the part of the creativeness, that's what I make a lot of money on that. But I went out and said it. If my wife was alive, she would probably hit me with a pan right now, because that's where people make money on the idea. On that musical gigantic box, instead of going with that stupid thing they did, what if instead of the way it ended, with Alexa having that black thing, the monster would have been selling. Randy would have been so close to doing the RKO to Alexa. Then when that's going to happen, then you see the black thing coming down, because she's panicking. The black thing is coming down. Randy is about to connect with the RKO, and the monster grabs him, and then does a choke slam, and he drives right through the middle. And then when it hits there, the whole bottom, you see transparency, and you see like a Dante's Inferno. And you know that they have the money to create this effect. I mean, even a cheap circus has that trick, Nick, please, and then have Orton fall into that Dante's Inferno with the fire and smoke coming out and the screaming all over the place. And then on the top, you see the monster Finn just looking at Alexa Bliss. But no, now she created her own darkness. What the heck is going on? And Randy was able to beat him. I guess he got the mileage of paying $20,000 to get his family into ringside. Yeah. I think he's got his money's worth, because the kids got to see Daddy win. But even if you were to talk to Randy, I think Randy would have been the first one to tell you in this storyline, Randy's already made. Randy is such a great superstar. He doesn't need a championship. He's already Randy.
Yeah.
He is over. And if he would have fallen into that pit and that thing, and you will see transparency with like the whole thing, the box, you can see the whole thing and the fire and everything and the look on the monster with Alexa Bliss. That was something people wanted to see. After the people that we had there, they see that's where they don't know. You have over 25,000 people. We had people on the phone talking to us that when that thing happened, when they went to black, they were booing that match. Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. But it was not because of them. It was because of what they made them be a part of. Alexa, Randy, and Finn were victims of a massacre of the worst creative storyline you could do for a match. And I always get in trouble because all this is going to go right to them. And then it's Hugo. He's upset because it's not working. So it's always easy to say he's mad because it's not working. He's not working for us. And I have survived without them. I already announced my retirement. I only got like 4 years to go. And 20% of the money I make, it goes to my kids' orphanages, the women in jail in Panama. So my life changed. You know, my wife died a year and a half ago. My life changed totally. And for me to come and do this out of spite, no way. I love wrestling. I wish that I could come out and say to you, Nick, I am in love with WWE, what they're doing, but they have the best talent. And I got news for you. I got evidence that the majority of the talent are confused and upset, and they don't know what the heck is happening. They're afraid of talking. They're afraid of doing any move because it's like a espionage. It's like you don't know, like if they're listening to you, if somebody's spying on you. It is not fun. It's not.
You think WWE is spying on some of its own talent?
I cannot say that publicly, but what I'm saying is that's the mindset that the talent has, that somehow it looks like they have control of like everything. And I even said in one of my lives, I said, why? I think I mentioned about Rey Mysterio, and it was somebody else. I did the live late last night. And Garza. I was talking about them, and I said, isn't that a coincidence that when Paul Heyman was in charge of the creative part of Raw, like it was more balanced. There were more new faces kind of getting that semi-push. It was like people were not like dragging for 3 hours. I cannot stay watching Nick 3 hours. I'm telling you, I cannot. And I was honest to the fans. I said that during the Randy Orton's match and the Finn, after 6 or 4 minutes into the match, I fell asleep.
Yeah. I
fell asleep. Not only that, my partner, it's ringing my phone because immediately when something happens big, I go like now. I go live immediately. I was out. How could Hugo, that loves wrestling, go and fall asleep when Randy's there, when Bray Wyatt is there? There's no way. But the story was so bad that it knocked me out.
Yeah. But
I didn't have to say it. But I came out and admitted to the fans, hey, I fell asleep.
Yeah.
And that is not good for a guy that does the live shows and ex-wrestler and this and that, to come and admit, hey, I fell asleep, because you should be watching the whole match. But I fell asleep. And I tell the fans, when I watch Raw, sometimes I go like this, Nick, myself. That's the top company in the world. Vince, when it was Brother Bruce and Pat Patterson and me, that was the whole creative team.
Yeah.
And Vince, and we would work on a storyline like for 2 hours every day. Pat Patterson, Bruce Pritchard, and myself, And then after 2 weeks of working, doing some changes, this is the big day. Vince comes and sits down and just reads it. And in 4 minutes, our dream gets destroyed. That's where I come from. You know, he said to me once, and I still believe Vince is one of the top visionaries that we have had in this industry, but he doesn't control the whole WWE. That's my whole point. There's other people that don't even know wrestling that are successful in reality shows or the Thai guys and girls. There's too many yes people. And Vince said to me once, he said to me, Hugo, I cannot teach you how to get to the moon, but I could surely get you down from the moon, which meant like I as your boss cannot teach you how to dream big to create great stories, but you give me a story and I could tell you it's too much, let's bring it down. So how it came from that into microwave finishes now, storylines that people don't even know, wrestlers that were told that they were going to do this, and then they hit the building, and now the story's changed. Triple H and Vince not knowing that Andrade came back. You have a doctor that makes the wrong analysis of your top star being pregnant. And this is the same guy that said that her fiance had taken a medication that was prohibited by the rules of that wellness, whatever they call it. Yeah. So to me, it's like, Nick, what the heck is happening here? Listen, I love wrestling. I pray, I'm a pastor. I pray for Vince every day and his family. They were my family for 17 years. I have learned to compete my whole life, compete, not envy, not destroy. My friends, Carlos Cabrera, that's not just my friend, that's my brother. And there's people there that make a living out of that. I will never, never wish anybody bad. I don't care if you're the smallest company in the world, because I'm still that 5-year-old kid from Guayaquil, Ecuador, that loves wrestling. But they cannot control me. They cannot control my page. And I just believe that there's too many yes people. And I think the same thing is happening in AEW, unfortunately. I think they have to build their own identity. Even though Jericho said, yeah, we're not looking at WWE, we're building our own product, but they gotta get their act together to trust me. Nick, AEW has the potential, not of beating WWE, but of becoming a great wrestling company. You have to forget WWE, and if they do the thing, but I am very disappointed because I see that they try to do so many things that there's just so many things that a wrestling aficionado can remember the show. You know, don't bombard the fans too much that what the heck happened tonight? You know, and then you have to know when to build a new talent and when it's not the right moment to build a new talent because it's not working. You know that you're beating NXT, but even the ratings combined of them will not make for a good primetime wrestling show. There were two companies. And even if, Nick, you mix them together, that's still, it's not a good rating for a Wednesday night primetime of wrestling.
Well, Hugo, thank you so much for, I think you touched on like everything there.
Yes.
So I'll wrap it up. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to chat, man. You again, like you make so much news, Hugo. Like I feel like every couple months you just become the center of the pro wrestling news universe. And no different this time around with Andrade.
Yes, I just want to keep it honest. And the fans said that they wish that the storylines in the companies were as interested as the headlines that we have. We have better graphics in Lucha Libre Online than the top wrestling companies. I create a better storyline with where I'm going than what they're doing in the ring. And we are just a wrestling page. Thank God for people like you And thank God for other people that are just beautiful people that spend a lot of hours trying to get it right, because a lot of people are not getting it right. And we, at least we're doing something to keep the people's interest. And tonight, I think in a short little while, Lucha Libre Night is going to have a premiere, something big, and I'm working on other big things. And I got other big news, but they're so harmful to the industry that I don't want to do that. See, to me, it's like I have it, but even Vince could tell you, and a lot of the people, a lot of the big stars, Carlos Cabrera and Hugo Savinovich, the Spanish announcers, the guys that broke the tables on all the pay-per-views, we know how to keep secrets. And we, Carlos and myself, we will take secrets to our grave. And I already wrote a book. By the way, all the proceeds for that goes to help orphanages. I don't make $1 of that. Next one will come out on 2024. And then I retired on February 2025. And I'm going to ask Vince to see if he lets me have Carlos Cabrera to do my last show. And I have done a spoiler already. I said, if I'm doing that part, if it's my production, do not expect a hero's goodbye. It's going to be sad because I leave. And that's the whole story. I leave. You got to use that moment to build somebody else. I'm already doing the spoiler. If I'm in charge of my last card, it's not going to be a happy ending for Hugo, because I don't stay. I leave. And that's to me is the point. The point is that we're missing the boat. There's fans and we're losing fans because we are not doing what they wish we did, to give them just honest storylines and don't treat them like 70-year-olds.